confidently tell about this story.
Yeah.
But
And even
if you-
yourself, by the way,
Yes.
even yourself, how did you receive it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you found me maybe 6 years ago, or the day when I gave birth to my daughter, it was very traumatizing because after going, you see, from before she was born, I never had any problems. Never been sick or admitted or anything. But now having her here, and she came and she could not speak. I mean, she was like dead. She was resuscitated. It really, I could not believe what was happening. I think when the doctors were trying to resuscitate her, I was busy talking to God and trying to pray and tell God, please bring my daughter back. I don't know what is happening with her. She has been okay. I don't know what just happened this minutes. So, and that day, unfortunately, I took myself there because the day was not due. And the gynecologist told me to come back on 10th of August 2016 if she didn't show any signs of coming. There was no labor pain. So that day I just told my husband to go to work. I will take myself to the hospital. But on my way to the hospital, just a few meters to the hospital, the labor started coming, and it was intense. It was coming very fast. By the time I was there was a queue. I was not even able to use my phone to tell anyone now come. I just told a receptionist to help me. I think it's an emergency. By the time I reached the labor room, she just came and she was quiet. So that thing made me wonder what actually went wrong. For me, I blamed the nurses because I was feeling like some kind of muscle pulls on my legs. So I thought they didn't do the correct thing, or they didn't help me very fast. And there were very many of them, about 6 of them in the room, busy talking, and they were just cracking stories and laughing. And I am there trying to look for assistance. Only one of them was trying to help me. It's only when the baby came out and she was quiet is the time they all got quiet. They started trying to help her, and they could not do, so they had to seek help from the ICU doctor who came now to help her. So that day, after that, I just told them to give my phone. I text my husband. I told him the baby is here and she's not okay. She has been taken to the ICU. And also text another lady from the church. I told her the same. For her, she sent 3 women because she was far away, but she mobilized 3 of them who came to look at what was happening. And my husband came. The baby was already taken to the ICU. Na mimi nikapelekwa pale kwa ward. So when you are taken to the ward and the women are there holding their kids, and you are there just bleeding and nothing, you don't know what is going on. I didn't even follow her to the ICU. So I was just there, just looking at women happy, holding their kids, some being discharged. A lot of things were going through my mind, and I thought maybe I've never experienced something like this. Because the other kids, in fact, I remember giving birth to my son in the village, and there was nobody. And I was young at that time, and there was no complication. So I was like, now these hospitals in the city, a big one, and what has gone wrong? I really felt so bad, but because I am a prayerful woman, I kept on praying, and the only thing that was in my mind at that time was for the baby to be okay. And I didn't know now that it was going to be something serious. Maybe you think it's just some small complications. She will come back and be okay. So throughout that, on the 5th day of birth, I was discharged from the hospital, and she was in the ICU. I was told, you mama, you are not sick. There is no need of keeping on using the wards and the beds, and you are just fine. You can go home and be coming every morning to express milk for her, as she was being fed on tubes. And so on the 5th day, I went home. So I used to come all the way from Langata to the hospital very early in the morning. I never had rest. And by that time, I did not have any bed. I was sitting on a crate, soda, in the ICU. It was a general ICU, but they had a small room they set for her. So I would sit there all day expressing milk. She was just on machines everywhere. I could not even hold her. In fact, when they took her the first day, they put her on ventilation. No, this is a total life support machine for 24 hours. So the doctors were just telling me this is a 50-50 thing. She might make it or not make it, because they said most kids who go through this or may not be able to make it. But for me, I just prayed. She was a big girl at 3.4 kgs, very beautiful. In fact, some doctors used to make some jokes. They come and say, what is this child doing in the ICU? This one should be going home. And I was like, I cannot even hold her. Everywhere are just machines and machines. So I would express milk there. When lunchtime comes, I go out to the hotels, take something and come back. The people who really helped me throughout, because she stayed there for 21 days in the hospital, are church members. They were the ones who used to stream there, and I really want to thank them. They are Bethany Church for coming through. They prayed with me, and they used to come every visit hour during the day and in the evening. They just go directly to the ICU. They look at the baby. I was scared at that time. They will come and I ask them how the baby is. So they used just to encourage me and tell me she's okay, she's doing fine, she's going to be okay. So throughout the month, I will tell you, I only saw one family member. Throughout the month in the hospital. There is only one family member who came. But die after almost we are about to be discharged.
All these 21
All
days.
through the 21 days.
That was now from your side or from the husband's side?
All the sides. The only side from who came maybe is my brother. I used to stay with my brother. So he used to come and he has really helped me. In fact, even we used to live together. And that day, when I went to deliver, I told all of them to go to work. I would be fine. I didn't know that things would go bad. So throughout the hospital, staying the 21 days, no family member, only one from my husband's side, and now my brother from this side. The rest were just people from church. They really came, and they are the ones who held our hands throughout the day until the time when we were discharged. They are the only people I saw.
They were not even sending, calling you or texting you?
Nobody's called or text. I think people just know they will come later and say, I think people don't take seriously when they hear that there is a challenge or when a child is born. They just think, oh, mama amejifungua and maybe the baby has complications and anashughulikiwa, and that is it. They don't feel like maybe someone is very sick and they need some help, maybe they need someone to go and see. Most people do not take that like that. So after that, now when we came home, the doctors just told us to prepare to have a special child. So we came, and the first month, I'm an outgoing person. I talk a lot, and every time if I meet someone, I will easily tell you I have a child who has this condition. So it's the thing that helped me for my daughter to get professional helps, because I could not keep quiet. So it is one day when a woman came, I was a teacher, so I was a very good teacher, but I'm not bragging. So I love kids. There was a parent who was in my school, and she transferred her kids. One time she was living around where I live, so she came and she told me, I am around your area, can I come and see you? I told her, come. She came and found me the baby. She looked at the child and told me, this baby has a problem, and I know of another parent who has a child like yours. I want to connect you with her. She connected me with the lady. Unfortunately, the lady had already lost the baby. So that one even scared me more. But she told me she can help. She connected me to another group, a WhatsApp group of parents. It is when I went there now, I saw that there are so many other kids like her, and some are even older. So it became easier for me to cope up, because I would read and see what they are going to do. I read their stories. Some were sharing on Facebook. I would see what they are doing. So I knew that this was the journey. So she also directed me to a neurologist now, who went and told us, now this condition is called cerebral palsy, and it has no cure, and what you only manage is give the child, because she was convulsing, and the hospital which she was born did not give her medication. So it is the neurologist that started now on medication to suppress convulsions. And she has been taking the medication since until today. Now, there are challenges, that's like you say, even in the home, sometimes as a parent you get hurt. Because I remember when you were discharged, you were told, I was told maybe between 6 months to 1 year, whatever has happened would go away, and the baby will start being okay.
Yeah, so just before you give us the challenges, because it's something you'd love to know, the challenges that sometimes you can look at parents and you don't know, they're happy, but you don't know what this parent is going through. What was your point of reckoning? Like, at what point did you go through therapy? Because sometimes you find like some things are too heavy. Lazima uende usaidiwe na mtu, labda you went through therapy, or how did you cope up ukafika place where you are at a place of acceptance. Now you're like, this is my child. I accept the way she is, and it is a condition, and I accept to go down this route of going through this journey with her.
Yeah, it was very hard for me, because I remember for the first 2 years, I was actually just sitting in the house there, and I could even change diapers, and I don't take them out. I would throw them just there where I sit, where someone has left me in the morning will find me in the evening. I was just sitting and looking at her all through, and I was wondering. I had a lot of headache, and I even got some blood pressure at some point. I didn't have anyone to talk about because I didn't know what to talk about. So the church members still kept on coming. They actually helped me so much. They would some of my friends would come and they would help me wash clothes for the other kids and help me cook. They come, they have helped me get so many things. They pray with me. So I just looked at the baby and I was wondering. I thought maybe the only thing I have to do is to be okay myself, because if I'm not okay, I will not be able to help the child. So I said it is enough. You know, I had one time somebody saying, "You mama, you are fine. It is the baby who is sick. So you need to be happy for the child." And that is the turning point. That is when I stopped now pitying, because I was going through that ile huruma. You feel like maybe your life has changed all of a sudden. So many things have stopped. All the dreams you had when you were growing up have now changed, because you will not be able to work, and you know there's that stigma from the society. People talk so much. So by the time I said, this is my child and she's alive, and if she's alive, that I need to stand up for her. That is the point that made me now stop pitying myself and stop pitying the baby. And I said I will take care of her the best I know. I leave the rest to God.
And how